Good evening. Module 1, Assignment 2, Artificial Intelligence. AI is the ability of the computer, program, or a machine to think and learn on its own. So, as a part of AI, today we are going to see the Sudoku code. For every AI machine, we will be giving a set of data and rules to work on it and give the desired output. So today we are going to give the Sudoku puzzle as an input to the AI, and we expect the the output to solve the Sudoku puzzle. So uh, before beginning, let us understand the rules of the Sudoku game. So it consists of 81 squares like A1, A2, A3. It's a 9 by 9 grid which consists of 81 squares, and each row or each column will be having 1 to 9 numbers randomly. So here A1, A2, A3, D1, D2, D3, G4, G5, G6. Each and every box here is a square. So total of 9 by 9 will be having 81 squares. And each and every square over here, like for example take A1, will be having 3 units. The units are like for A1 it's this row and the column and the 3 by 3 grid of it in which A1 is contained. These three are called the units. And for example here take C2, it has 20 peers. For C2 the peers are A2, B2, C2 to I2, and the row C1, C2, C3 to C9, and the grid A1, A2, A3, B1, B2, B3, C1, C2, C3. So for C2 and each and every square there are 20 pairs and 3 units. So today we are going to understand the code over here and the test cases, whether the given input is perfect or not. We are going to test it using the assert function. So we are going to see how this code works and how the AI machine is going to take the input. So switching on to the code. So here in the test, we are going testing whether the code is working perfectly. That means the input which we are giving over here is going in perfectly or not. Like, see, for example, the number of squares in the Sudoku should be 81 exactly, as we have seen over here. 9 by 9, 81, right? So 81. And the likewise during the explanation I'm going to say about the unit list, units, and the peers, the examples of it. So here we have a function called cross. Before going to cross, so I have taken 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 as the digits, which is a string, and A B C D E F G H I as the rows, and I have copied digits into the columns, and I am first building the squares like over here A1, A2, A3 like this. I'm building the squares. So each square consists of a alphabet A and a digit 1. So I'm sending the number of rows and the columns to the cross function. It will take A and B as the input. So for A and B, it will take in a loop and make a string concatenation of A plus B, and it will return out to over here, so that the output of the squares will be A 1 2 3 4 5, A1, A2, A3, A4 to A9, next B, B1, B2, B3, B4, B5 to B9, likewise. So we can see by printing the squares over here. So I'm just unhashing it. I'm going to run the code. See here I got the output like all the squares a1, a2, a3, a4, a5 to a9, next b1 to b9, next c1 to c9. Likewise I'm having 81 squares over here, and since the test cases are passed, like see we got 81 squares, right? If there are any exceptions over here, then the statement all tests pass will not be printed, and since I have got it, there is no exception. Or else we can test like this. See, if for example I will be giving 82. So now if I try to run the code, there will be a assert error, so assertion error. So we need to check whether the given number of squares are 81 or not. The next one comes the unit list. Let's see what unit list will be. So if I go and run it, so it will be the unit list is going to give the unit list is actually a list of lists, so it will be giving all the number of rows, columns, and the grid likewise. So a1, a2, a3, a4 to a9 will be a list, b1, b2, b3 to b9 will be a list, like 9 rows, 9 lists, and then the columns a1 to i1, a2 to i2, a9 to i9. These columns will be another 9 lists, and the grids, the 9 3x3 grids which we are having a1, a2, a3, b1, b2, b3, c1, c2, c3 will be again a list. So we can check it, the output over here. See a1, b1, c1, d1. So the first column, the second column, the third column. Likewise from here, these are the rows, and here the grids. So there will be total of 27 unit lists. So in the test set we have written the same 27. So the length of the unit list should be at 27. So we have taken the unit list. Now we are going to, as we have said, each element, each square will be having 3 units and 20 pairs. Now we are going to print the number of units and the pairs which we are getting, and we'll be checking with a test set. So the units must be 3 and the pairs must be 20. So for units, this is the line which we have written. So it will be taking unit list, and it will iterate through it, so that if the element is consistent, for example, if we want to get the pairs of a1, it will go through unit list and check each and every element in the list and check if it contains a1, then that unit list will be copied onto the units, otherwise it will go on to the next list. So unit list contains 27 lists, right? So it will check each and every list, and since we have 3 units for each square, there will be 3 units which will be printed. So if I run it, so for a1, this is the first column, this is the row, and this is the grid in which a1 is contained. So we got the units. If I want to get the pairs, so for pairs, what we need to do is, for example, C2, right? From A2 to I2, from C1 to C9, from A1 to C3. All these 20 elements should be taken out. So for A1, we'll try it. So I have taken A1, and for that I have got 20 pairs for A1. So in these we have repetition. See A1, A1, and again A1. So the number of times like this A2 and A3 are also repeated. Some elements are repeated. So we need to remove those elements so that it will be easy for next working of the code. So for that I have taken, if we make it a set, then the number of repetition, and then there will be no repetitions at all. So save it, I'm going to run it. So the number of elements have been decreased, and since we are using a set, it will be saying it as a dictionary, and all the test cases are passed. And since we are taking A1, A1 should not be repeated. See, A1 is over here. We are we need to have the peers of A1, right? So A1 should not be present over here, and the rest of the elements should be present. So we just from the total set, we are just removing the set A1, and we are going to print it. Now we got the elements, all the 20 elements, 20 peer elements. So we got the units, we got the peers. In the test cases, we have taken these two, and example unit will be C2, the number of units for 3 units for C2, and the 20 peer squares for C2. If any doubt, we can change it, like since it's I2, right? If we change it to I1 and try to run the code, then it will throw an exception. See, assertion error. So the code which we have written is cool, and this can be the input to the AI which we are going to build in the next modules. Thank you.